It's Tech It Out!
On this week's Tech It Out, Simon will show you how to turn a 34-year-old Apple computer into a telephone stand. Catherine will show you...
We interrupt your usual broadcast for some breaking news. Tech It Out has changed format. We are unaware if this is a permanent change or for how long it will continue. We checked in with Jeff to find out more details about the new Tech It Out.
Well, yes, Catherine, there is a bit of a worry in the community about the change in Tech It Out, but we decided that we'd do something different this week. Rather than the tech coaches sharing their tips and tricks, we thought we'd highlight some of the innovative ways our community has been using technology in their teaching and learning. We really thought it would be valuable to hear voices other than our own. Oh, but don't worry, it's not a permanent change. We'll be returning to our usual format next week. Please enjoy hearing from other members of our ASW community.
Tech It Out!
Have you been looking for a way to integrate interactive games into your curriculum? Do you enjoy the challenge of a good escape room? Then take a look at breakout.edu. This tool can be used with all age groups to create a memorable learning experience throughout a variety of subject areas, as well as to promote collaboration and team building in your classroom community. This can be an excellent approach to beginning a unit, reinforcing skills, or just having some fun with your students. There are a few ways this tool can be implemented. With the breakout box, students work together to solve a series of puzzles to unlock locks and break into the box. With the digital version, which works very well in the virtual environment, students work together to open a variety of locks to complete a challenge. Another engaging option is to reverse this process, having your students work together to create their own breakout challenge. Try it out and experience the level of energy and excitement in the room when students are participating in a challenge. For further information, feel free to reach out to Jeff Derry in the tech office or Kris Sheehan in the middle school.
In this week's Tech It Out, I've handed the controls over to Bill Madden. Take it away, Bill.
So for the criterion D in science, which is where students reflect on the uses that human beings put science to, thinking about pros and cons of the uses of science, we were kind of giving an open-ended, a choice to kids in how they actually present their understanding and knowledge. That could be film, could be a podcast. What I'm introducing to the kids for the first time in grade 9 science is using Comic Life as a way of showing that information, showing what kids can do. It allows, if you're not familiar with Comic Life, it allows the kids to build a graphic novel, comic screenplay. There's plenty of space for them to actually put in the material that they need to put in there. It allows creativity. I know a bunch of the kids in grade 9 have already used it in grade 8, especially some of the language learner kids. And the feedback I get is that they found that very useful. So it's another option for us in terms of kids being able to express what they know in the format they feel comfortable with.
Thanks, Bill, and I'd like to thank Alicia and Nyan for sharing their Comic Life work they had done in their 8th grade INS class. And don't forget to contact your friendly tech coach if you need help.
All right, Apple Classroom. It's a really wonderful thing to have as a teacher in the classroom for managing students' work with the iPads, and the students really like it also. The first thing I like about Apple Classroom is that I can manage the students. I can look on my students, and I have all their names and their iPads, and I can see their screens. I can see what they're on. So like if I'm working with students, like yesterday, I assigned to them to all go to Pic Collage, and so then I see that they're on Pic Collage. I can see as I stand with them that they're working on what I asked them to work on, but as I walk away and work with other students, I can still glance to see that the student who I was with or students I was with are still working on that project. Because quite often in the past, I would come back to them and they're off on another project. They're kids, they get tempted by some other things. So I can really manage what they're working on. So here, this is a student working on animal resources, and this is natural resources. The student was working on that. What I also like is with the Apple Classroom is I can then display a student's work. If I wanted to have the class see what this student has done, I just look to see which student is, and then I click on that student's iPad, and looking for this student, I click on that student, I do view screen, and then we can look at that on the large screen. We can look at that student's work up on the large screen together and talk about the work, and the students then can go back to working on their own. So in the past, I would have to, get that student to come up. I'd have to, hook them up to the device to be able to see. It just took a lot of extra time. This is just a couple clicks. I can show a student's work, another click, show another person's work. So it's really excellent tool, not only for managing the students, but for teaching and improving their work. But one of my favorite things is when we're done, that I have the ability to lock them. That it's time to go, and I can just go to lock, and it locks all their iPads. And then we can be on time to go to our special class or to go home. And for me, that is a huge bonus.
NaNoWriMo. So NaNoWriMo is an amazing tool for writers. It was actually started by adult authors who found writing to be very isolating and very daunting when you have a whole book ahead of you. And so they began it as National Novel Writing Month in November with the challenge to write a certain number of words in the month. And it has since expanded to the Young Writers Program, which is what we have started with here at school in the elementary. So NaNoWriMo for Young Writers is a really awesome place where our students can write novels, they can write poems, they can write stories, nonfiction, really whatever they want. There aren't any strict parameters. It's a little bit more specific to publishing your writing than Google Docs. It doesn't have the collaborative features, but it has some other really neat features such as word sprints, where they can set a time limit and aim to write a certain number of words in a couple of minutes. It has something called a Dare Machine, where it gives them prompts that they can include in their novels, which is really cool and motivating for students. But the most neat feature, I think, is the ability to set monthly word goal challenges. So when a student starts a novel, they can give their novel a title, they give a little synopsis, they tag it in different genres, and then they set a word count goal in a specific amount of time. So it's a way for them to really break their writing down into manageable chunks, and it shows their progress in a bar graph. I think that this tool can really be used for any age. It's not about how much you're writing, it's just about your own individual progress. So even if a student is only writing a couple of sentences, I think it's really cool and can make them feel like an author. Another really neat feature is that at the end, they can publish their book through either downloading a PDF, and they can design even a cover for the book through the site, or NaNoWriMo works with a self-publishing company, and if they get their parent permission at home, they can actually order a bound copy of their novel, and that costs money, but I think that would be pretty awesome for students to see themselves as a published author.